Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Now we all saw the Teraleaks situation that happened a couple of weeks ago with Generation 10 and the future of Pokemon, but a lot of new leaks have dropped since then for Generation 10 and I wanted to break down everything for you guys today. All the information that we know about Generation 10 is going to be in today's video. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, we now have information regarding whether Generation 10 is going to be turn-based like the older Pokemon games, or if it's going to incorporate the new battle system from Pokemon Legends EA. So we have Teraleaks here tweeting out, saying we have some new information about Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Wave that wasn't part of the Teraleak documents released this week. I am going to go over all the other information as well, like a massive recap, but that will be later on in the video. Right now, I want to go over the stuff that wasn't part of the Teraleak, because this is brand new information. So basically the feature to ride all Pokemon has been scaled down significantly. So originally the Teraleak document stated that all Pokemon were going to be rideable or interactable in some way, shape or form, but that is apparently not the case anymore. That has been toned down quite a lot, which isn't ideal because the ability to ride on any Pokemon would have been great, but now is not going to be as good, unfortunately. Now, I don't know if that's because of time constraints or whatever. They have had like half a decade to work on this game, so I don't really think time constraints is going to be a reason for that, but either way, we'll have to wait and see what happens. The character bios and story have changed a lot. So the original storyline for maybe the main character or the actual game has actually changed a lot from the Teraleak. Remember, the Teraleak build was from like 2021, so a lot of things probably have changed since then. I think people need to remember that even though this is all leaked information that has come from Game Freak, it did happen like 4 years ago. So there's a good chance a lot of it has changed. So all the stuff that you saw about the next Legends game and everything like that that's happening in like 2029, 2030, a lot of it is very likely to change. So it's cool to see all the stuff that we potentially are going to be getting, but don't take that all as like concrete information that that's what we're going to get. But either way, character stories changed quite a lot. And as well as that, the game is turn-based. If you enjoy the Pokemon Legends EA battle system and want it to return to Generation 10, make sure to let Pokemon know. That's just the dumbest thing ever. Like, the Generation 10's coming out next year. There's no way they're going to completely change the whole battle system because people have said so. Like, I think this new battle system is just a Legends unique thing, and we're just going to go back to turn-based for Generation 10. I completely understand that people are saying that why are we going back to turn-based, because obviously we're getting Pokemon Champions. Completely understandable, but apparently turn-based is just going to be how Generation 10 is. But yeah, they're not going to change it. Like, the game's coming out in a year, and to completely overhaul the whole battle system is just not going to happen. But either way, that's some new information there regarding I mean, this is coming from Centro, who obviously is a bit of a shaky in regards to information that they have. They have actually got something wrong that we're going to cover later on in the video regarding logos. But either way, that's the first batch of information. And as well as that, Shiny Locks was one of the most asked questions we got asked. Assume at this point that in all Pokemon games in the future, all static encounters will be Shiny Locked. It's clear Game Freak isn't going to be changing that. So obviously in Legends EA, all Legendaries and stuff, they are shiny locked. The stars are shiny locked at the beginning of the game. It was the same for a lot of the Nintendo Switch games that we've had since since Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. The only difference was BDSP, but that's because Game Freak didn't even work on that. So yeah, it looks like shiny locks are just going to be here to stay for the majority of legendary starters, and the only way we're going to get shiny legendaries and stuff in the future is through events and stuff that half the world don't even get, because, you know, in the UK, for example, we didn't even get the shiny Koraidon and Miraidon codes. So great handling of that situation. You can't shiny lock everything and then not give the whole world a chance to get it. Dumbest thing ever, but either way, looks like shiny Pokemon are going to be locked forever now in regards to future Pokemon games. They're never going to change that. Moving on, we also have this. So it seems like one of the main complaints about Legends EA is the long tutorial and hand-holding. So according to the leaked documents, Generation 10 will finally fix this. So the tutorial in Legends EA was quite long, very hand-holdy, took like 2-3 hours to get past it all. I understand it because obviously it's a completely new battle system and stuff, and it's completely kind of new game in that regard, so they're going to want to make sure everybody gets to grips with it before they kind of send you off into the world. but it still was a little bit too handholdy. But apparently Gen 10 is going to fix this according to the leaked documents, and as soon as you get a Pokemon to cross the sea, you're free to go anywhere, including to the final boss. So as soon as you can traverse the sea in Generation 10, you can completely explore the whole region. Though we still expect the initial island to be full of tutorials. Remember, Game Freak considers new gens to be focused on children, while Legends games are for core gamers and older fans. So Scarlet and Violet was designed with the idea of it being a child's first open world game. So first island in Generation 10, loads of tutorials, but as soon as you can get onto the sea, you will not be like locked behind these tutorials like you were in Legends ZA. Anyway, moving on. This is pretty big information because this was apparently confirmed by Centro that these logos were legit, and it turns out they weren't. So I definitely wanted to go over this. And again, this is another reason as why Centro is not a complete 100% source of information, because they've gotten a lot of things wrong in the past, and this is another example of them getting things wrong. So basically what happened was, obviously they posted all this information about Generation 10, all these images, yada yada yada. So what happened was the chief operating officer of the Pokemon company personally sent an email to Centro to take down all of the image leaks, and so obviously Centro was saying, you know, they're not going to do it, whatever. And basically what else they asked Centro to take down was this image here. So this was an image that popped up on 4chan saying the following logos appeared on 4chan on the 4th of October a few weeks ago, specifically for two games called Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Wave, before all the Teraleaks stuff happened. And we basically got Centro here saying among the images they requested X to take down was the leaked Pokemon Wind and Wave logos, and they're saying they are real. And they're saying here are the logos. So we've got Centro here saying that these logos are real. They still have not taken this tweet down yet, even though this is incorrect information, because somebody on 4chan who made the logos posted that they made the logos, saying, I didn't plan on doing this, but Centro is straight up lying and don't want anyone else to be confused. I'm a designer and have fun doing logos. I uploaded these as a joke, didn't expect much from them, but they turned out to be more believable than I expected. I didn't leak the names. There've been rumors about these for a while. So yeah, take with a grain of salt everything that came out recently. I've seen several real leakers saying that these logos were real. If anyone needs more proof I can provide, I'm happy to. So these logos are not real for Pokemon Wind and Wave. They're very well done. Massive fair play to the person that made them, but they are not legit. Centro saying that these are real, he is wrong. This is not real. And we have Yorodon kind of like confirming this and with more information and stuff, and basically as to why they are not real. And then this was why this image was taken down. So I'm confused because Pokemon took them down. Apparently they just issued a sweeping DMCA claim rather than targeting specific images. So everything that Centro posted, they basically sent a DMCA for, and this obviously included these logos, but because Centro got the DMCA for these logos, they thought that this was real, but it's not. But they obviously still haven't taken this tweet down yet. So yeah, that's some pretty big information, because these logos are not legit, and a lot of people think they are, but they are not legit. But anyway, that's all of the kind of like new information that's dropped since the Teraleak. Now we're going to go over all the basic information. We have some more information regarding like starters and legendaries and stuff that we want to go over. Like I say, there's a lot of stuff to talk about today. So we've got this post by Nintendo Everything saying, rumor Pokemon Gen 10 details leaked, tentatively known as Pokemon Wind and Wave. So this is kind of like a sort of summary of all the information that was posted from the Teraleak in regards to Generation 10, and then there's a few other tidbits and stuff as well about like starters and legendaries and MMO stuff. But either way, this is just a collection of all the information from the Teraleak, because there's just too many tweets to go over. But either way, all the information is here. So new details about Generation 10 may have surfaced, with leaks now supposedly making the rounds. They are tentatively going to be named Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Wave, which are planned as Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives. Everything stems from the Pokemon Teraleak that previously happened. We'll be sharing what's been posted online, yada yada yada. So, below is the full rundown of all the information regarding Generation 10 from the Teraleak, which again may change a lot by the time the Gen 10 games come out, because this is from a Teraleak that was nearly half a decade ago. Anyway, it is set in Southeast Asia. This game is not going to be set in Greece like we were all expecting it to be. That is not the case anymore. The theme is going to be Infinity. It is directed by Shigeru Omori. The original setting for Pokemon Wind and Wave is Indonesia and Southeast Asia. The information comes directly from Shigeru Omori's documents from 2021 and contradicts previous claims about the game being based on Greece. The new battle mechanic for Pokemon Wind and Wave is Tenko Waza, which could be translated to weather moves. So weather moves are going to be the main gimmick of this game. Makes sense because the games are called Pokemon Wind and Wave, but weather moves are going to be a massive part of this game. We have a seed Pokemon, which is a little legendary Pokemon, and basically this is a baby Pokemon of the seed species that can be found in resort areas. So the seed Pokemon equals unevolved form. It is a rare sight in this land, and no one has ever seen its evolved form. When it travels to the island where the main legendary resides, it begins to evolve. Its evolved appearance is said to have infinite variations. So what this means is everybody's going to have their own little seed legendary, and wherever you take this Pokemon will alter its design. So everybody's seed is going to look completely different because everybody's going to do different things when they play Pokemon Generation 10. So there's an infinite amount of things this seed could look like, which is really cool because it's super, super unique to you and how you're playing the game. And also every time you play Pokemon Wind and Wave, your seed will look different because I assume you'll do a different sort of path every time you play the game. Next up, we have characters. So we've got the protagonist, who is 13. At least I assume that's what these numbers mean. And they live in the big city, Kuala Lumpur, and they are a city kid. Their mother wins a trip in a lottery, and they are taken on vacation. So they are not from this region, but they win a vacation from the lottery to this region. There is a baby in this game, which is not even 1 year old, an infant who cannot walk yet. By the end of the story, they learn to walk and talk, symbolizing the future, which I think this is the first time we've ever had a sibling for the main protagonist in Pokemon. We have a friend who is 13, and they are a local kid living on the resort island, acts as a rival, knowledgeable about Pokemon and nature, becomes friends with the protagonist. There are two versions depending on the protagonist's gender, so very similar to Urbane and Tawny from Pokemon Legends ZA. You pick the male character, you'll have a different friend. You pick the female character, you'll have a different friend. And then we have the mother, who is 33, and she lives in the city, works from home while raising two children. She won the trip in a lottery and is taking a long vacation to relax. We have the hotel chairman, who is 75. He's the chairman of a hotel group that owns many resorts nationwide. He originally sought to create resorts where people and Pokemon could coexist with nature, but after a certain incident, so a child is by a Pokemon, he began to push for aggressive development and came to hate Pokemon, which is incredibly dark for a Pokemon game. For a child to, pass away because of a Pokemon, it's very, very dark. I don't know if that's going to stick, but either way. We have the heir as well, who is 15, so this is the chairman's child. He serves as a kind of executive within the organization, though not stated outright in the game. His older brother is obviously not here anymore. He's the second son or an adopted one of the chairman. So he respects his father, but is naive about the world. And then we have the evil team. So we've got the land development team, a for-hire group that destroys nature to expand land for profit. They have no ideals, they just complain while working for their salary. Doesn't sound like a great evil team. Sounds like another Team Skull, Team Yell kind of situation where they're just not even evil, they're just complaining and whinging and whatever. We have the professor, who is 21, a nature guide working at the hotel, known as the Survival Professor. He researches the relationship between weather and Pokemon, studies Pokemon that can become embodiments of weather itself. Although knowledgeable through books, his real survival skills are inferior to the professor's friend. Pokemon Wind and Wave start the adventure in a big tourist city. They mention that specifically wanted to break the pattern of always starting the game on small towns. And then also, and this is major information, in Pokemon Wind and Wave, you start your adventure in the big resort hotel. So apparently they want this hotel to serve as an MMO lobby where you can see other players, interact with them, have quest boards, etc. Incredible. Basically, you start off in a hotel lobby, and when you log into the game, I assume that there's just loads of other people around you, and you can interact with them, you can trade, battle, whatever, and they're all in this hotel lobby. So you'll have your room at the top of the hotel, I assume. You'll go down to the lobby, and then that will act as like a big MMO area. I assume this game's going to have like co-op and stuff like that, but it's going to be cool to see that every time you go into the hotel lobby, there generally is going to be like a ton of other characters there and like people that are playing the game. There's going to be like a limit, maybe it's like 20 people, but it's going to be really cool because you're just going to be able to walk around and see all these different actual people playing. It's going to be really cool. Survival in the jungle would be one of the main themes. Every Pokemon can be ridden or touched, but again, potentially that has been nullified quite a bit now, according to Centra, who again, a little bit shaky on whether they're legitimate or not. You can apparently explore underwater as well. We have the theme details as well, which is just like really deep stuff. It's just talking about like the next generation and stuff. I don't really need to go over this. It's just the theme of the game, really. But, you know, this world has endured since ancient times and will continue to the future. Past generations entrusted something in the future. We now receive this something and live on, entrusting to the next generation. Like I say, it's just the sort of theme of the actual game and stuff. So this is a story of parental responsibility and children's rights, endlessly passed down through every age. So play that continues infinitely, land that expands infinitely, and then evolution holding infinite potential. We also have legendary Pokemon as well. So we've got Pokemon Wind and Waves legendary. So package, which is Storm, the Storm package Pokemon. The role is an old man, lives on an island that repels people, possesses the power to correctly guide people, and Pokemon with the power of wind only accepts humans who have properly raised. I don't know if that's supposed to be the seed Pokemon. And then we have package, which is wave package Pokemon. Role is an old woman, lives on an island that repels people. So basically just the female version of the male. And again, only accepts humans who are properly raised. Again, I think that's supposed to be the seed Pokemon, because I don't know how it can be only accepts humans who are properly raised breed Pokemon. Unless it's talking about Pokemon that have been bred. I don't really know what that means. But either way, that's kind of like a summary of all of the Generation 10 leaks from the Teraleak. And now we're going to go over some stuff that was not kind of spoken about in this summary, but there's a little bit more information that Centro has posted. But again, take it with a grain of salt, because obviously Centro was wrong about the logos. I understand why Centro was wrong about the logos, because obviously the DMCA takedown, but either way, this is more information which probably, I assume, came from the Teraleak, but this is regarding the starter Pokemon. So somebody asked any information about the starters, and basically Centro said the only information about the starter Pokemon that we know is how you encounter the starters. So protagonist just arrives to the island and is en route to the hotel. The city streets are completely jammed. Apparently Pokemon have escaped and the cars can't move. And then somebody shouts, "Hey, you there, catch those Pokemon for me." And then the event, the starter 3 dash off and the player must chase them. So I think it's similar to Legends Arceus, where you have to catch all of the starters and then you choose one of them. But yeah, you literally have to run around the city and catch these starter Pokemon, and then yeah, you probably just choose one. Hopefully we find out what the starters look like in February anyway on Pokemon Day. But that is how you encounter them. At least that is how you were able to counter them from the Teraleak. Could have changed though. Moving on, we do have some more information as well regarding gyms and stuff, and sort of things that you have to do, these challenges. So you've got Centro here tweeting out saying in Pokemon Wind and Wave, the gyms and the Titan/Lord Pokemon are mixed together. So there are in total 18 challenges. There is one for each type. So there's a grass challenge, a rock challenge, ground, fighting, ghost, steel, electric, fire, water, challenge for every single type. There are, like I say, in total 18 challenges. They will be inspired by the Sustainable Development Guide. And then clearing all the 18 challenges allows you to challenge the champion. So it's very similar to Scarlet and Violet, where you kind of have to do everything like the Titans, the gyms, and all that jazz. But in this game, to fight the champion, you have to do all of it. Where obviously in Scarlet and Violet, you just have to do the gyms to fight the champion. So obviously that's a little bit different. Sounds like it's going to be a much longer game, and I assume these challenges are going to be dotted around all the different islands that you can traverse to in Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Wave. The seed Pokemon that we spoke about, this small seed legendary, the seed Pokemon will revert to its default form when transferring it to future games or champions. It will only be procedurally generated inside Wind and Wave. So if you get this seed Pokemon to look a certain type of way and then you transfer it into Pokemon Home, it's going to revert back to how it originally looked at the start of Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Wave. And then every game that it goes into after that, so Generation 11, 12, whatever, it's always just going to look like the basic sort of seed Pokemon. So it only looks different in Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Wave. Now, I don't know if you send it into Home and then send it back, you're going to have that same design, or it's just going to revert back to its original form when it comes back from Pokemon Home. Not sure about that. It'd be a bit unfortunate if it did that, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Moving on, in Pokemon Wind and Wave, you'll be able to beat the game without finishing all the gyms or catching the main legendary. Those will be optional, but you need to complete those for the true ending. So it looks like we're going to have multiple endings in Pokemon Wind and Wave, and you can either skip a lot of stuff to get a certain ending, or if you do everything, so you beat the game by beating all the challenges and catching the legendary, you'll have the true ending. So it's a little bit like Breath of the Wild, where you can kind of just challenge the main boss straight away. Because it says in Pokemon Wind and Wave, the player will be able to challenge the final boss right away after getting the ability to traverse the sea, and will be able to defeat it and see the credits. However, it will be a lot more difficult, obviously, because you're going to have your starter. I don't even know how you're supposed to defeat this final boss with, you know, a level 5 starter, unless you just take like 6 Rattatas with focus ashes and stuff, and that whole tactic. But yeah, it's interesting that you're going to be able to do that. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people trying this. It's going to be very difficult to do. Because obviously it's turn-based as well, most likely. So it's not like you can kind of like dodge attacks and like cheese it in a certain way. It's just going to be literally a turn-based level like 80 versus your level 5 Pokemon. So yeah, going to be interesting how that happens. And then also in Pokemon Wind and Waves, proposal mentions that they plan to have all big Pokemon be rideable and smaller ones interactable in some way. So obviously this has changed from the tweet Centro said here, where the feature to ride all Pokemon has been scaled down significantly. So this is kind of what they're talking about here. But as well as that, it also mentions dressing up Pokemon. So obviously in Pokemon Legends EA, we had the best character customization we've ever had. It's really, really good. In Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, we were able to customize Pikachu and Eevee. And now it looks like they're combining the two, and you're actually going to be able to customize your Pokemon potentially. It talks about dressing up Pokemon anyway. So whether they scrap that or not, we'll have to wait and see. And it says for Pokemon Sun and Moon, Game Freak also originally wanted to implement Pokemon dress up. Will they be able to do it this time? So yeah, look, I don't know how far this sort of dress up will go. I don't know if a Pokemon will be able to dress up like they do in Pokemon Unite, where they have all these different outfits and stuff, or it's literally just gonna be like a small ribbon or something. I don't really know. But yeah, dressing a Pokemon up potentially could be in Pokemon Wind and Wave. We're not 100% sure. And then finishing things off, before deciding on Southeast Asia, Game Freak decided against setting Generation 10 in Canada, Greece, Scandinavia, and the west coast of North America. So that was 4 other areas that they potentially were going to set Generation 10 in before they decided on Southeast Asia. So yeah, just kind of goes to show how much thinking does go into these regions and where these regions are going to be set before they actually kind of, you know, have the green light and go with it. But either way, that's all of the leaks. Obviously, there's like loads of other leaks as well to go over, like the next Legends game and everything. But for today's video, I just wanted to concentrate on Generation 10 because there was more information that came out about it and stuff. And obviously, Generation 10 is very close to being here. You know, we're going to get it announced in 4 months. And then obviously, it's going to be coming out in just over a year. So I wanted to kind of get all this information out as quick as possible. But there's some really exciting stuff here. Really exciting stuff. And I really like the fact that there's like an MMO lobby and stuff. Again, it could all get changed because this was from a Teraleak that was like 4 years ago. But if it doesn't get changed, I feel like yeah, this is going to be a really exciting game. It's going to be the best Pokemon game of all time. Again, it's only on the Switch 2 as well, so there's no like limitations now, because obviously with Legends EA there was limitations because they had to get it to a place where it could run on the Switch 1 still, whereas with this they're like, we don't even care about the Switch 1, Switch 2, full steam ahead, let's see what we can do. So yeah, expecting big things from this. But yeah, these logos are not real. Centro obviously got it wrong, but the rest of it just come from the Teraleak. Apart from this information, this is apparently not from the Teraleak, so I don't know where they got this from, but either way, apparently it's going to be turn-based. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's going to be everything. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we covered. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.